Okay, so now the map has been cropped and rotated correctly. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a neat line to my map. So to add a neat line, what I do is I come down to the rectangle tool right here, click on that, and then I sort of just drag a rectangle in sort of the general area I think I'm going to want my neat line. You can always adjust it after. So two things to notice. One is that not only do I have a background image down here now, but I also have this rectangle image. And the second thing is obviously now my map has disappeared. The reason this is because my rectangle is filled with a solid color. So what you want to do is come up to here where it says fill and click on this white box with a dash through it, which means no fill essentially. And then you can see my map has reappeared because now my rectangle is clear. This 3-point slider here essentially just adjusts the width of your neat line. So you can make that however wide you want. It's really just a stylistic choice. I'm going to be putting mine at around 3. That's something I'm quite happy with. And yeah, now you can see that I have my neat line. Some important things to note about the neat line. So if you come to this rectangle where it says rectangle over here, what I would recommend doing is double clicking on where it says rectangle and changing it to neat line. This is useful just because this panel over here is really important. It's sort of where, if you imagine making a map by hand and adding something to it layer by layer, so first you add the neat line, then you paste your text on top. That's essentially what all of these individual tabs are. So if you want to work on the neat line, so for example, say you wanted to move the neat line around like this, you need to make sure that you've selected the neat line over here. Because if you have background selected, and you try and move the neat line around, it's not going to let you move it around. So you want to come into neat line and move it like that. Now let's say that you start working on the rest of your map and you're not happy with the dimensions of your neat line. You want it to be bigger, you want it to be smaller. So what you do in that case is you make sure you have neat line selected like I do here, and you come into edit, and then you go to this menu that says transform. So edit, where's transform? Okay, transform path. So if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can press on scale. And what that allows you to do is to just drag your neat line to any size you want, just like this. Once you're satisfied with the size of it, you can press the check mark up here, and then your neat line will be resized. So the rectangle tool isn't only useful for making neat lines, but it's also useful for making boxes maybe around legends and other things. So again, say I wanted to have a legend box down here. What I would do in that situation is, once again, I would just make sure my background's selected, because you want to be working from the background whenever you're adding something new. Come down to the rectangle tool and just pop it in right there. And you can see here that I now have a new layer added, and that is the rectangle I just added. So I'm going to come in here and rename that just something like legend outline. So now I know if I want to work on the legend outline, I have to have this selected, and I can move it around and do whatever I want with it. So the key really here is just remembering, whenever you want to add a rectangle or some other shape, you have to have the piece that you want to be working on selected. So yeah, that's adding a neat line and adding any other rectangles that you might want to use for something such as a legend outline. Yeah.